staking stream to this circuit to try and just make sure that the people, the influential people, are on side with their decision not to change the rate. Got to remember, this is not, Powell has, I think he's got 3 more. Let me check here. So he's got, because I think the end of May is when he's done. So he's got 2 more. He's got this one and then 1 more in April. And then I believe his reign is over as of the end of May. And the probability is approaching 0 that he's going to continue in the role. So I think that, that feels like the Fed is going to be pushing things. So hopefully I should be back on YouTube. If you guys have found found the new stream, Carlos set up a new one for us. Hopefully you're able to find it or have found it already. And apologies for all of the issues this morning. I can't even find it if it's out there. Carlos done. All right. Let's see here if Carlos has got me set up. There we go. Okay, so my sincere apologies to everybody out there on YouTube. Those of you that have managed to find me again, oh my God, it's been one of those mornings. So let's get going. We still have work to do, right? Because there is trading to happen. And we need to stay on top of it. I just covered the economic calendar. Not much happening there. Let's take a look at the gappers list, because we do have a few things gapping up and gapping down. I am very surprised to see AMD at the top of the gap up list. Look at that. Our good old buddy AMD here is moving higher. So we're going to take a look at that, and of course all the other things that are gapping here today. So we might as well start with our friend at the top of the list. And to do that, here we go. All right, we'll get AMD in here. We'll get our charts going, and we'll get off to the races. Moving up here this morning, 10 whole percentage points, and it's moving on some decent volume, 9.3 million shares. So AMD, I have not seen it this active, and I don't know how long. But the reason for it is that they have apparently signed a deal with Meta to deliver AI chips. A big deal, even for AMD. $60 billion worth of. I always feel like 60 billion. Anyway, $60 billion worth of chips, which is big for anybody. So, they are going to deliver them over the course of the next 5 years. And I'm looking to see here, 60 billion performance-based warrants. Oh, wow. Interesting. So this is the big deal. So apparently not only are they are they delivering a huge number of chips, but they're also giving some performance warrants for up to 160 million shares. So Meta can actually buy some AMD shares at 1 penny, up to 160 million AMD shares for a penny each. So that's a pretty good deal. So I guess this is how they secured such a big deal with Meta, is by offering them shares in the company at pretty much for free. It's essentially for free. I guess it makes sense now why I'm seeing this thing move up. On a daily, of course, this puts AMD well up above all of the recent consolidation range and makes it a $200 stock once again. So AMD, I mean, come on. It's absolutely going to go on our list. It's going to be in play. It'll be interesting to see what it does today. When you have a deal of this size, I don't know. Like, does the market continue? If you look in the last little while, I mean, it did the initial pop up. It sort of sold off a little bit, and now we're sort of trending upwards. So there's lots of room for this to move higher or lower, depending on what the market at large feels about this deal and how influential they think it's going to be long term. So definitely interesting to see it. What's interesting as well is Meta largely unchanged. So while because Meta as the purchaser, usually the company doing the buying doesn't really get a stock movement, right? This is just part of their AI investment. The deal to issue them 160 million shares is a pretty good deal, though, based on performance. If they can get the 160 million shares for a penny each, I mean that's That's free money, right? So essentially, they're going to cover a significant part of the cost of the chip purchase with these shares. So now Meta is invested in making sure that, or hoping anyways, that AMD's stock price appreciates over time. I go back to our gappers list now. Probably not surprisingly, we can see a couple of other chip stocks that are moving, and other software companies that are also moving. So Intuit is the next on the list, and Intuit here also had. Whoops, I got to get the right stock here and chart. Also had a deal it likes. That they announced this morning. Their deal was with Anthropic. Now, Anthropic, I find it an interesting company, and I have to give Gary in the chat room a shout out. Gary, I think it was you that sent me a link to a series of papers that were sort of scientific papers, speculation papers that were written by the CEO of Anthropic. Who's doing a bunch of, obviously they're investing in AI, and it was fascinating. He was very open about their exploration in AI and the impacts, the good and the bad, what could happen. Anthropic was the company that sort of released that they were doing testing with their AI. And guys, if you haven't heard this story, it's an awesome story. So they were stress testing their AI tool, and they'd created an AI engine, a basically they were trying to treat it like an employee, right? And they treated the AI tool like an employee, and they gave it tasks to do, and they gave it a manager, and they sort of let it do its job and treated it like an employee. And then what they did is they actually seeded rumors, not directly to the AI, but just in, because it was tied into the email, into the social conversations that they had. And they sort of hinted that they were going to be laying it off. Which laying it off means they were going to unplug the AI. So basically kill it, right? So the AI then took autonomous steps to protect itself and started to discredit its manager, and it threatened its manager, and basically it tried to protect itself by killing its fellow employees or taking out its management, which was fantastic. I loved it. Anyways, but he said, but they learned stuff from that. They learned that there's a warning that the AI, they embedded it with self-preservation. And we can't think that these things are going to always operate the way you may want them to. So, do we have the right controls and protections in place such that it doesn't harm the company or the organization by trying to preserve itself, right? So, which to me is just fascinating. Anyways, we don't need to go too deep into that, but I just find the whole thing absolutely fascinating. And it's interesting that Intuit has a deal with Anthropic here today. If you're really interested, look up the papers by the CEO of Anthropic, and they're good reads. They're long, but they're very good reads. So, anyways, Intuit is up this morning, 5% with not that much volume, only about 400,000 shares. So I don't know if I'm going to put this on my list, frankly. I've never really tried to trade Intuit, and if you look at a daily chart, it really sort of been selling off with an average volume of about 4 million shares. It's below what I usually like to see, but I like the field, and this actually could be more interesting than it looks like pre-market. So we'll potentially put an eye to it. I'm going to, for the moment, I'll throw it on a secondary list, and if we really don't like it, what we'll do is we'll just take it off in favor of other things. All right, going back to our list here, even I need to pull up the list and see. IBRX is the next thing that we've got on our list. So let's take a look at this. Has been popping up on our gappers chart like almost, it feels like for last week or two. And actually looking at the daily, I can see why. It is gapping up. Yesterday, it looks like it had a little bit of a run, just to settle back exactly where it started the day. So not much of a move there. It's up 3.7% on decent volume. 1.1 million shares here this morning. And this is this is a stock that does seem to get some reasonable volume over the course of the day. So I can't say that I've watched it, though. I don't really know how it trades. Looking at yesterday, if we go to a 5-minute chart for yesterday, during the market hours, I gotta say, it sort of looks okay, but not great. A little hard to trade. I don't know. Has anybody traded IBRX out there? If you have, Let me know, because I'd be interested to know if this is something that you think is maybe worth paying attention to. I don't have a lot of experience, usually because as soon as you say biotech, I'm like, ugh, I really want to pay attention. Immunity Bio, by the way, is the name of the company, but they've been here consistently for the last week or so. So I'm going to pass unless somebody says you've got to watch this. It's a thing to look at. Next on our gappers on the way up here was ANET. It's up 4% with 300,000 shares. This is Arista Networks. Not a familiar ticker to me. We might have looked at it in the past, but I'm not really that familiar. It looks like they're part of this deal between AMD and Meta, which makes sense. When you get a $60 billion deal here and delivering 6 gigawatts of AI, compute power, you're definitely going to have some other companies that are going to get, right, some subsidiary companies and some benefit from it. So it looks like they're just getting just sucked along, right, sort of in the wake of this massive deal. So being that they not one that normally hits my radar, the volume is pretty low here today, and it trades on the New York Stock Exchange, which is not my favorite place for stocks if I'm looking for some aggressive movement at the open. So I'm going to pass on ANET. As I mentioned, we got a few of these semiconductor and related stocks. Taiwan Semiconductor, right, is moving higher, which would make perfect sense. So don't forget, AMD, every single chip manufacturer out there leverages Taiwan Semiconductor to do their manufacturing. So a big deal for AMD, and more volume means more potential business for TSM. Now, it could already be baked into their forecast, but it doesn't matter, right? We're interested in stock movement, and I see TSM here is up 2.6% this morning. With about 400,000 shares. Again, another New York Stock Exchange traded stock. So being that it trades on the NYSE, I don't usually pay much attention to TSM. It's not something that I love. I mean, it's actually great swing trading stock, not a good intraday, in my opinion. So take from that what you will. And yeah, it's not going to hit my list here for today. We're getting some of the other stuff that's along with it. You know, the SanDisk has just been on a tear over the last 2 months, especially, right? This calendar year, January, February has been fantastic for SanDisk. Tripling its stock price. It's now almost a $700 stock. Once again, I feel that this mega deal between AMD and Meta is what's moving up a lot of the stocks here, including SanDisk. I don't see any independent news on it. So, I know there's a few people that watch it regularly because it sort of picked up its volume. Like, look at how the volume is increased, right? And it started before the actual price increase, right? You can see in November how the volume was going higher, and then it sort of held to that increased volume, where now it's trading on average about 25 million shares a day. So that's pretty good. But I said no real news, no real news on it. The other thing that we have to keep in mind, of course, is that with the tariff environment sort of changing, there is that overhead that affects sort of everybody that's impacted by the tariffs. The Supreme Court, of course, had their ruling that struck down some of the tariffs. Of course, the administration has come back and said that they're going to reintroduce some different tariffs using a different justification. So, it's one of these where it's got to be weird, like, if you're trying to buy from these companies, how they manage their pricing. I don't know how they do that. Like, is it like every time a tariff hits? Because, of course, when you make an order, usually the company covers the tariffs, and they give you a price, and they've got to cover all the costs to get it to you. I wonder now if the price is variable based on when you order it, based on the tariff, or when because obviously they only get the tariff when it hits the port and when it actually gets shipped to wherever its destination is. So it's got to be very strange for these companies to try and manage an ever-changing tariff environment. But anyway, SanDisk is up a little bit. Also on the list here, I see Cypher. This is another one that's hit our list a couple of times over the last little while, and never traded it. I mean, I'm going to show you guys. This is the chart from yesterday. This type of price action is really hard to trade. There's just not enough movement for me to jump into it. So while Cypher, it has a little bit of motion today, again, same story. I feel that they're just sort of moving with the market. Now, this is a mining company. Actually, they actually have different news. It looks like uh, they have a deal here securing 3.7 billion worth of high yield senior notes for Barber Lake. Their Black Pearl data centers, high performance compute data centers. So this is good news for them, I guess, as they're securing another revenue source over the next little while. So. All right, guys. Well, out of this list, if I look at it, you know what I realize? I don't even have on the screen. You guys, I've been updating my gappers list, and you guys can't even see it. So let's get the gappers list on here. And so the only thing I put on there really was AMD. Intuit still on the secondary list. AMD, of course, with this mega deal with Meta, it's got to be one that we're watching. Okay, other than that, I didn't have anything else that I was targeting specifically. I have to admit, I was just on the gap up list this morning. It was interesting to me to see that, once again, Apple is gapping higher here. It's up just 0.5% on 200,000 shares. We've got Amazon, which is also gapping up here this morning. Whoops, I got to move so you guys can see what's happening today. It's gapping up here slightly, just a 0.1%, not much, but it is slightly higher. And the other one that was gapping higher was Microsoft, which actually was a really good mover yesterday. I was surprised. Microsoft has so many days where it doesn't trade all that well, and then every once in a while it'll have a good day. And yesterday was one of those days. I really liked Microsoft yesterday. So we'll see if it can give us some similar moves today. There are some earnings today. Remember, the big earnings this week's all about NVIDIA, right? For earnings, they're coming out after the close tomorrow. But this morning we did have earnings on Home Depot. They did come out sort of a mixed picture. They actually missed on revenue, but did well on beating their bottom line. So they kept their cost in line despite. I mean, they just barely missed revenue. I think the number, if I recall here, was 38 point something, 38.2 billion, 38.25 billion on the estimate. 38.2 is what they delivered. So, at that level, being off by $50 million is really not much. It's just a couple of percent off. So they're pretty good, and they over delivered by 20 cents on their earnings. So Home Depot, I sometimes watch it, but I think with the AMD news, the semiconductors feels like the place to look today. The other one, just out of interest for you guys, for your awareness, Keurig Dr. Pepper. Just what a weird stock. I'm still amazed that this is just an independent stock. And their earnings in the quarter, when I was looking it up, I'm always surprised every quarter when I look at this and they pop up on the list, where they had $4.5 billion worth of revenue in the quarter, 60 cents per share earnings. But can you believe that every year people buy $20 billion worth of Keurig pods and cans of Dr. Pepper? It just feels like such a weird mix too. How is that a combination that that made sense for them to manage? It feels like two totally different industries. They're both liquids, but other than that, I think you'd market it differently, you manage it differently. I don't know. Maybe there's more synergy than I'm aware of. They're both caffeine. Sure, yeah. Maybe they'll buy. They got to buy Monster drinks next. But yeah, in the South, and that's actually, I ran into that when I was working in the South, because Dr. Pepper was something I'd heard of, but it was always like a fringe, strange drink that I never paid much attention to. It's not one of my favorites, I'll have to admit, but I wasn't sort of born and grew up with it. But man, I went to the South, and yeah, Dr. Pepper was everywhere. I was amazed about that. So, all right. So just in other things that are moving here, we're gonna get to the gap down list. I see Wales mentioning PayPal had some news yesterday. Well, let's talk. I got PayPal here on the list right now. It is actually gapping down. It looks like it had news yesterday because it had a big move up yesterday. I didn't follow the news. What was PayPal's news that had it moving? So maybe they're the buyout. Somebody's going to buy them out. Is that what's going on here? Unsolicited takeover interest offer. Okay, so that's interesting. So far, it doesn't look like the company's made any response to that as to whether they're going to accept or reject that. But interesting that there's interest. So we'll see what happens. All right, we got some people who are just joining right now. They're asking what the news is on AMD. There's a $60 billion chip deal between them and Meta that's really driving AMD so significantly higher this morning and a little bit dominating the chip sector. All right, guys, let's because I'm really late today because of all the technical issues we had up front. Let's go right to the gap down list. We're just going to handle a couple of these. We'll start at the top. We might as well look at the one that's at the list, this FULC, which is Fulcrum Therapeutics. We have seen this before. Fulcrum has been on the list. This is a pretty big move down, 13%. Not a huge amount of volume, though. So it's only down by about, it's only about 400,000 shares here driving this thing down. And they actually reported some positive results, they're saying, from their phase 1B trials of a drug. Clearly, market's not buying it. So it doesn't look like that everybody's in agreement that this drug, which is focused on sickle cell anemia, is doing as well as they report. So anyways, the company tried to put a positive spin. The market's saying, actually not looking as good as we had hoped. I don't like to trade these really, so if you're interested in it, by all means, but volume is pretty low. And if you just go to a 1 minute chart, you can see like we have basically there's no shares trading hands right now. So nothing to see here. We can move on. Now, what does get volume is the next one on our gappers list, which is HIMS. And HIMS is an interesting one because there's periods where it pops up like every day, and then it just disappears months at a time. And we never really hear much of anything about it. So it looks like they had some earnings data that they released after the close yesterday, and it wasn't good. They didn't hit their numbers. Looks like they were off. They were off their targets. And I'm just reading here. Did HIMS and HERS, apparently they had a Super Bowl ad? I didn't see any of the Super Bowl. I was on vacation when the Super Bowl happened and wasn't really paying attention. But apparently the ad didn't go well. So I don't know what their ad was or what it covered. But anyways, not only did they miss expectations, but apparently there's some blowback and they're getting some negative feedback about their Super Bowl ad. So was it really that bad? Did anybody see it? What was it for? Because they've got all sorts of different products. Was it for the company or was it for some of their product line? Oh, that's not what it was about? I really don't know the background here. But anyways, whatever happened, I'm just curious. Apparently they got some blowback out of the Super Bowl. Novo Nordisk, them cutting their price on their key Ozempic drug for weight loss is it's really for diabetes, but everybody knows it's being used primarily for weight loss. Would cause some margin pressure. So anyways, if you like HIMS, feel free. I mean, it's got 3 million shares traded today. It doesn't look that bad. I don't typically pay a lot of attention to it because I've found that a lot of its move happens pre-market. And like I said, it'll show up for a few days and then disappear for months at a time. I've never found good trading opportunities during the day. I can't say that they haven't been there. I maybe just haven't been paying attention closely enough. So HIMS might be worth putting some levels to, assuming we have time to set levels here. I wouldn't do any better than put it on a secondary list, but I'll throw it in here just so that we can keep an eye on it. Maybe if we deem it warranted. All right, on the gappers list, we got a whole bunch of other stuff that's on here. We got some silver stocks, not a surprise, gapping down this morning. We've got some crypto companies on this list. Interestingly, Broadcom is moving down. I see they're gapping down about 2% here. Not huge volume on about 600,000 shares. I wonder if it's because they were thought maybe to be able to secure part of that deal with Meta. So, because if AMD is the big winner on the deal, that means there's got to be some losers, and that could include. And it would include NVIDIA, right? Because obviously they'd be one of the obvious choices for such a big deal. And I know what it's like in those sales campaigns, right? I'm sure they were all competing hard. It's got to be a disappointment for the sales team at NVIDIA. But let's face it, they've had their time in the sun. So NVIDIA is also gapping down about 0.5% on big volume too. 5.4 million shares traded on NVIDIA so far today. So whether you're taking the ones that are going up, like AMD and maybe SanDisk, or the ones that are going down, like Broadcom and NVIDIA, there's movement in the semiconductor sector. And I think it's absolutely a place to take a look at. All right, we did mention in passing Novo Nordisk, NVO. And NVO is also on the gap down list, gapping down about 3% here on almost 5 million shares traded. So it's pretty active here. We mentioned the cause here. They've got this price cut for their Ozempic. So now, if you're using it, they're going to drop the price in the U.S. to $675 per month. Starting in 2027, though. So that's not going to be happening immediately, but we know that the market is forward-looking, and Novo Nordisk is getting a little bit of a push down. I'm not so sure how well this is going to trade. I don't know. I mean, it's another maybe, right? Like, I would maybe put this on the list, but I wouldn't be spending a lot of time on it today. For me, it's going to be primarily about the semis, I think, for my live trading. So that's really what we have. If we look at the gappers list, I said we got some silver on here. Silver prices, if I take a quick look, seem to have more or less stabilized over the last few days, dropping a little bit from the increase that we had yesterday, but not that much. I mean, so it's down a little bit, which means we're going to get some of the silver stocks like AG and others that are moving down. But nothing too major. So, again, semis are where it's at. How about you guys? What are you watching? Anything that you want me to take a look at? I see Tesla being mentioned. Tesla's always in play. It looks about average. Average volume at 800,000 shares. Average movement at about 0.4% down. Tesla had a pretty, a bad day, but a good movement day yesterday. For anyone who's watching it, I was in a trade right at the open here live with you guys on it, and unfortunately, I let myself get stepped out very early on this trade, which is too bad because it really made a good move down, and there was great opportunity on it. So I just didn't follow through, and that's a little disappointing for me, to be honest. But it was a good trade. I made some money. I can't complain too much. So. Sometimes you got to take a stock for what it is and take your trades for what they give you, right? And then learn the lesson. Let's come back and trade it better tomorrow. I can revenge trade it today. Jonathan, oh my God, that's what I hope not to do. Absolutely hope not to do today. And Shirley, I see you mentioning VIR. That's not even a ticker I'm familiar with. VIR Biotech. Let's see. Gapping up 33%, 7.6 million shares. Sounds like, when it's a biotech, usually that means they had some drug trial news. No, looks like this might have been earnings and a deal. Looks like they got a partnership deal here with Astellas. So they're going to be collaborating on one of their drugs, VIR 5500. And that gives them extra cash that they desperately needed to continue the R&D work on that drug. So good news for VIR. I'm not a big biotech trader, so if you like it, feel free to trade it. It looks like they had a big move. The big move happened late last night, and now they're selling off a little bit. It could absolutely be in play with 7.6 million shares, which is 3 times already what it normally trades in a day. It's absolutely in play, but it's not the type of thing I watch. So if you like those biotechs, go for it. All right, we're getting close here. I got lots of stuff yet to cover today. We're going to have to get to some of the rest of our agenda. So let me jump right away, guys, into what's happening in the community, because it's a busy day out there. And we have lots of things that are happening. Let's start with the stuff that we have midday. We've got a trade book session at 11 that Phil is going to be leading. That's for all of our elite members in the webinar room. He's going to talk about options, and if you want to join him and talk options, then that's the place and the time to do it. And if you want to talk about technical setup and configuration, we have a lot of people out there that use the DAS Trader Pro platform. That's what I use as well to trade. And Brendan's going to talk about that platform and give you some information you could need to configure it, manage it, and best use it. That's in the onboarding room for all members, and that happens at noon today. Tonight, I'm very proud to be able to deliver the webinar tonight. We're going to be talking about a VWAP retest strategy, and I mentioned Microsoft. It's a candidate for that. It's one that yesterday did an actual VWAP retest. And interestingly, Tesla that we were just talking about also sort of delivered an element of it. So we're going to talk about sort of what my criteria is, what I look for, give you maybe some things you can incorporate into your own trading. If you're interested in a VWAP retest, this is a strategy that works best off of the open, but not right at the open. Right, this would be a trade that you could take. Usually, it takes effect 10 to 30 minutes after the open. We'll talk about that setup and how it works. I'll give you all the details in terms of how I look at it that you might be able to use. So that's for our elite members. It'll be happening in the webinar room at 8 p.m. tonight. Hopefully you will join me there for that. And if you want to join us and you're not yet a member of Bearable Traders to take advantage of all these webinars and events, then what you need to do is go to bearabletraders.com and you can join using any one of these membership options. Now, if you want to get into the webinars, you got to be an elite member, which means you got to do the elite monthly or the elite annual. They're both available there for you. The intro and basic are really to get you started if you want to just see what it's like and see if being part of a community is something that benefits your trading and is for you. I strongly recommend whatever you do, trade as part of a community somewhere. It's a very lonely and very isolating type activity. It's good to have other people around you who you can just talk with, even see their conversations. You know, when they're having a bad day, you know, sometimes it's good to sort of hear that, to know you're not alone, because we all have bad days. We all do. I don't care how good of a trader you are, you can have a bad trading day. And that's when you need a community more than ever. So whatever you do, try and find a community that suits your trading style. And we hope it will be with us. But if not, go somewhere that makes sense for you. If you're out there on YouTube, well, that's a great place. You're with us in the morning. But of course, we're not here all day. So if you trade more than just the open, you may want to consider joining the community and be there. And there's even more that goes on because, of course, we have Andrew and Brian that live trade in the chat room most days. I say most days because right now they're in Vegas, and they're actually going to be live trading with the people that are at the Money Show in Vegas, and they're waking up bright and early to be able to do that, and going to be get going. I think that's today when that live trading is, but I'm not sure. I mean, anybody who's there in Vegas, let me know. Is that today or tomorrow? I can't remember the agenda for that, but it'll be interesting and it'll be fun. Andrew, I see he's in the chat room, so there he is, right? He's already getting going. Okay, so that's the community. That's what we've got, guys. We're just going to take 2 minutes and set some levels because we're only 6 minutes away from this market open, and we've got to get ready for that. So let's go back to our charts here and focus on the things that we put on the list. Of course, we've got to look at AMD off the top with this big deal. I mean, it's absolutely in play, and we've broken through these ranges that would have been the short term. So if you were doing short-term measures, like let's look at a 60-minute chart, right? We're well out of the range that we've been trading in for the last, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks. But I love where we're at. Look at this price-wise, right? There's areas of support and consolidation here. So I'm going to put a level right down here at 213.25. I can tell there's some shares that have traded hands earlier on. That's a place to look at. And look at the top here. There's definitely an area up here around 217. I'm going to put a level around, I'm going to put it right at 217 because I want to keep an eye on that and make sure that I'm able to take advantage of that move if and when it happens. So other than that, you can see I've got other levels of my chart from previous explorations up 220.25. If it moves to the top side, and of course, if we drop back down, well, look, we've got all of this consolidation area in here. I would expect support to happen at around 209. Here on AMD, but I don't think we're going that low today, to be honest. With this news, it's enough to keep this thing floating. We're probably going to stay in this range, and if not, even go higher. I mean, of course, this morning we did go as high as 227, so that gives us a good $14 buffer to the top side. We're also looking at Intuit. We can look at that, pop up here on their deal. Different news, but interesting. Here, they've been on this downturn, so really we've got some opportunity. I'm going to zoom in on a 60-minute chart. I want to see where the shares have traded hands, and it looks like the previous day highs and low are an area to take a look at. They're already marked on my chart. And I'm going to throw another level right here because I just think that a 377 is a place to keep an eye on. So we'll watch for that. You know what? The last one I'll do here is I'll look at HIMS because it with that they're on the downside, and then Novo Nordisk, of course, if you want to look at that, they're there as well. But HIMS is interesting for me just because of how it's moved down here. I think the low of the pre-market is a place to watch, and then we've got consolidation in the highs and lows of the previous 2 days. So just watch those. You can see them on my chart. These are these red lines here. I've got 15.16. I've got there $15.29, and of course we have the previous day close, which is up at 15.51. So areas to take a look at if you're watching HIMS. In the chat room, we're going to hand off to Andrew. Now, Andrew is still in his office, so he's not in Vegas. That's not good. That means that he had yet another flight cancellation. My goodness. I can, yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. Wow. Well, well. Excellent. Excellent. Well, yeah, I'll say hello. I'll say hello to everybody in Vegas because on YouTube they can't hear you, Andrew. So I'll go over and be with our friends on YouTube in the chat room and in Vegas. Guys, have a great trading morning with Andrew, and we'll be back together in a little bit. Okay, guys, let's keep going. So Andrew never made it. He never made it to Vegas. He's still in Vancouver, and he's going to be doing this remotely and delivering the live training for all the friends at Vegas. Of course, we do have some of our team members. Nathan and Thor are out there. Mike is there, so they're able to obviously be with everybody in the room and still deliver the content. But unfortunately, there's got to be I thought all the storms were on the East Coast. Andrew seems to have had lots of problems with his flights from Vegas. They got delayed and canceled 3 or 4 times, so that's no good. All right, if you want to watch Andrew, you got to be a member. You got to be part of the Bear Bull trading community. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna get ready here. I gotta get ready for this open. I'm gonna be watching NVIDIA here and AMD, of course. I think AMD's the big mover this morning, and I'm going to put my focus primarily on AMD. I don't actually know at this point whether it's going up or down. One of the things we didn't look at, by the way, we didn't look at the overall markets. The SPY is actually red right now and moving lower. The Qs are moving lower, but it's not red yet. They're still in the green by a little bit, but they could be going red. So it's interesting that the market is moving lower. This actually could be a drag on AMD, despite the fact that they are up. Well, right now they're only up 7.5%. They were up much more earlier today. We'll have to see what happens. That makes my trading a little questionable as to where to go. The other thing I'm going to be watching right here at the open is I'm absolutely going to be putting an eye to Tesla. I like Tesla. I've been trading it quite a bit the last little while, so we'll see what it does, but it's not really in play. Okay, there's the opening bell. We're ready to go here. I see, AMD is a little sketchy for me because I want to see if we actually, what I'd love to see would be a big pop higher on AMD and then some weakness. If I could see a pop higher and then weakness. Now I use the Trading Terminal Atlas tool to look and see where the volumes sit. And I'm going to be looking at that right now. In fact, I got to just fire this thing up. But I didn't. So we got a little bit of a pop up, but not enough for me to get the risk to reward that I'm looking for. Because if I look at the Atlas and AMD, if you guys haven't seen it, by the way, this is what the Atlas tool looks like. And you can sort of see where market orders. So you can see that we've got more orders to the downside at 209, but we do have some stage orders on the way up here. So it's a little mixed. If you look at something like Tesla, just look at how many orders. They're all over the place, right? So you can see that Tesla's just got a lot of volume, and actually it looks bullish. It looks like there's more orders to the top side. So we'll see what happens here. The market is overall looking weak. AMD is actually looking weak and selling off here a little bit. So that is interesting, but it's again, it didn't give that pullback a big enough pullback for me to really jump in at short because I didn't want to go against the very strong news it had. But I would have been able to get a couple of dollars on it. But I said not. It just wasn't. I was looking for a little bit more of a pop. Maybe I should have been bolder on that trade. But keep in mind, I'm also trying to manage the show, which is I've got to tell you guys, it's really thrown me off with all the technical issues. Once again, my apologies. If you would still give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that came and found me because we actually killed the feed, restarted it, and again now I'm terrified of touching anything because I don't want to turn my sound off. My microphone, I don't care how out of position it might be, I'm not going to move it because I can't risk it turning off again. So. All right, so look at this. So now we're getting the pop-up. This is why I don't want to go chasing something like AMD. Keep in mind, it had strong news today. So I know in the chat room I'm seeing a few people who are willing to jump on AMD to the long side. That makes sense. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Wasn't fishing for positive comments, but I appreciate them. I just don't know where AMD is likely to go. This is big news, but you know it's big news that's sort of already been baked in pre-market. So you know, can we go back to 227 on AMD? That feels a little bit of a stretch. Well, we could easily go up to about 215, right? And 217 looks like well in target because we were sitting there just earlier this morning. So that feels like a reasonable place to go to. But I'm not going to chase this around. I don't want to get caught on anything. So look at NVIDIA though. NVIDIA is really dropping here this morning. It did this head fake higher right before the open, and then look what happened. The second the market opened, look how much it just dropped like a stone. So it's moving down. Some of the others that were moving pre-market, let's see what they're doing. SanDisk moving down a little bit. Broadcom was another one, also moving down a little bit. So wow. See, this is why I didn't want to chase AMD higher. I've seen this too many times where you get this news, and if the market was moving higher aggressively, right? Let's take a look at the SPY right now. If it was moving higher aggressively, maybe you could chase that price action and say this is a big deal for AMD, and it could just move higher. The fact that the market is moving down like this puts, that market drag can overwhelm the good news that was happening on AMD, and to me, it looks clear that there's a lot of uncertainty as to what to do here, right? Because the news is good, the market is bad so, at the moment. So right now let's go back to the market atlas. You can see 208. Look at all these orders at 208, right? So this is where it looks like in the short term they're trying to draw the price. And if we zoom out a little bit, see where the bigger orders sit? Down below, 207, 206. There's a lot more volume sitting underneath the price than above it. So I think there's a little bit of a risk here that it looks like AMD at the moment is looking weaker rather than stronger, and could give back a few dollars here that it earned. So, all right, gonna get some of these other things. Interesting. If anybody's following some of the like Novo Nordisk, it's red, but it's been moving up since the open. I really struggle to trade Novo Nordisk. I don't know why. It doesn't agree with me. It doesn't. I'm not good at trading it, so I usually just avoid it. But some of these other things that were moving this morning, just taking a look at them. How about Dr. Pepper? What's that doing? Not much. Low volume, hasn't even hit 1 million shares yet. It's looking pretty awful. Let's go back to AMD. See what it's up to. Not much. AMD's looking pretty boring here. Tesla is interesting. And in the chat room, entered Tesla. He's long, looking for a push higher above this level. You can see how it hit here, and it's now hesitating. If it holds over 400, Andrew should be okay. If it drops below 400, that'll be problematic for him. So we'll see what happens. This is an Andrew style trade, not my style of trade. So I'm just going to stay out of it and watch. But hopefully, it works for him. Only want good things for my good buddy Andrew, and I hope all of his trades work. So, if you guys haven't been in the chat room, by the way, let me pull this over here just for a second. I'm going to give you guys a view of this is what our chat room looks like. You can see Andrew shares a screen. You can see his active trade. There's the camera, and of course, we got the chat that's going on right here. So we got all the stuff that's happening in the chat room. So it's active in there. Brian often trades with him. I think Brian did make it. His flight did make it out last night, and he's in Vegas, so he's probably sleeping. Look at NVIDIA though. Just all red candles so far. Maybe finally it's getting some support, or maybe not. That's not news for NVIDIA. And unfortunately, Andrew's trade on Tesla is not going as he had hoped. So remember I mentioned if it goes below 400, that'd be dangerous, and that'll be problematic. So now that it's below 400, I'd be worried about exactly where this stock price is going to go. So we'll have to see. You guys are talking about Micron, at least learn the art AI. Is that a message for me? I had this big rant about AI yesterday. I'm not against AI. I just said I'm not competent enough to use it effectively. But anyways, Micron just, it's gone red here this morning. God, it's so weird for me to see MU as a $400 stock. I have to admit, in my head, I'm still way back here, right, where I'm thinking of it about $150 stock, not a $400 stock, and even that's fairly new. I mean, Micron is really look how many years it's spent around the $120 area, right? And then for it to suddenly be a $400 stock hurts my head. Anyways, all right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. Microsoft is on the move higher right now. It's pushing up. The market is pushing higher as well. I see the market indices, the SPY and the Qs, moving higher here. So that's a good move. All right. No trades for me yet. I'm just watching. I haven't found. Oh, look at the pop on Microsoft. Good move there. All right, Tesla. Tesla's come back. I think Andrew managed to hold on. I'm surprised. Like he's got guts more than I do. So he was able to hold on. This trade's now working for him. He's taking a partial. So on Tesla again, let's bring it over here so you guys can see. Here's Andrew's trade on Tesla. He even went on its way back up. He added into it a little bit, and it moved higher for him. So there you go. That's him. Do that. Oof. What else we got? I don't think these moves are going to be long lived. God, AMD. AMD's not able to continue the excitement here. Wow, we got a spike high on Novo Nordisk. Look at this move. After sort of bouncing off the VWAP, it moved higher quite nicely. What else? What else we got? MU. It's giving you easy money? It's never easy. Never easy. But I'm glad if you're able to take advantage of that. Did you take a previous day close bounce? If you did, then good for you. What else we got? Apple's on a good move higher here. So Apple's moving higher. Guys, I don't I don't have my normal trading setup either because when I have to share it live, I didn't really have time to set everything up the way I normally would. So I'm not. I don't. I feel half blind, right? Because I don't get to see as much as I normally do. I see Tesla's pulling back here a little bit. Go back to AMD. I'm not terribly surprised. AMD is not giving us as much fun as you would expect. That can often happen. PTC. Is the connection bad? Guys, let me know. Is the sound okay? If it's a bit slow. All right. It could be my end. Let's see here. I'm not I sometimes max out my computer here doing this, but right now it looks okay. My internet speed. I am cutting in and out. Oh, my mic is popping. Look, guys, I've had mic problems all morning, so my apologies for that. I am not going to touch it. I'm afraid of touching it. So, whatever's happening, hopefully it will fix itself. The stream won't stay on live. Yeah. Okay, so different people are getting different experience. That's weird. Okay. All right. I don't know why that would be then. That sounds like a YouTube problem, not a me problem, because I can't control the difference that experience. If some people are fine, then I have to be broadcasting okay. It could be the whatever is going on at the back. So, and yes, I just blamed YouTube. All right. So, okay, guys, I'm still watching here. I'm still looking for a trade opportunity. I have not found anything that I am willing to jump into yet. I feel like Carlos might have found a trade or two maybe this morning, but I like this I like this NVIDIA move back UAP here, right? And this sort of failure. This might be a short to stop sort of over this level. What's the problem is that the market is pushing higher. So if this was to be a good short, I'd want support from the market. And if I look at the cues right now, see how they're pushing higher? So, and the SPY also pushing higher. These usually look alike, by the way, these two charts. So I wouldn't want to jump into NVIDIA on a short here with it pushing, in the opposite market going in the opposite direction of the trade. I'd want support from the market because otherwise something like this can happen, right? Where you sort of, get caught in the market. The same way AMD got caught on the downside as the market opened, right, and got pushed lower. So we'll see we'll see where we go. AMD now looking weak. It looks like all of the excited buyers who were in earlier got a little nervous at the open, or thinking, maybe this, maybe we're not going to continue to buy. We've done enough. We're just gonna ride it out, see what happens. Apple, Martin, you're seeing Apple move. I did take a quick peek at Apple. Yeah, look at that. It did actually bounce. It did this good. This is a good VWAP move too, right? See how it pulled back, sort of tested the VWAP, and then moved higher. That is an interesting move. And at that point of the morning, it started to have support of the market. Now, Apple hasn't always worried about the market in the last couple of weeks. It's been very contrarian. Right? The market would be weak and Apple would go up, but the market would be strong and Apple would drop. So, so I'm not sure whether to think that it's necessarily a valuable thing to have the market moving in the same direction. But I honestly believe it can't hurt, because you never know when Apple's going to go back to its old tricks. It used to be. I mean, I've traded Apple for years. It used to be Apple was like it's you could overlay its chart on the SPY. And it would look identical, like it didn't do much of independent. It just followed along, or led it, depending on your point of view. But anyways, recently that has not been the case. It's also not the darling, right? It used to be the biggest company out there in the world, and it's lost that title and has slid quite a bit. Let's see, where do they sit? Apple's current market cap is sitting at 3.9 trillion. Whereas, where's NVIDIA at right now? 4.6 trillion. And, well, they're still ahead of I thought Microsoft had pulled ahead, but Microsoft only 0.8 trillion. So those are the big three. Well, no, the Google too. Google's 3.7. So there you go. So Google's right up there. Google and Apple are pretty close. Of course, you've got NVIDIA, which just pulled ahead of everybody to hold the crown. All right, so NVIDIA is just above the VWAP here. It's holding here. Yeah, we've got people that are reporting poor audio, and others say it's perfectly fine. So I'm not sure. I don't think it's me, but I apologize for it. I said I'm afraid to touch my microphone. I don't want to risk it because last time I did, it cut the feed off and I had to reboot everything to get it going again. So I figure probably a choppy audio is better than no audio. And you know what? No, it's me. It could be me. It's more likely to be me than it is to be YouTube, right? But some people are saying that it's okay. So I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Why would some people get it okay then? I don't understand. I can't tell you what happens behind the scenes there in YouTube's beautiful algorithms and how they work. So if some people are getting it, I have to assume that I'm broadcasting to YouTube fine, and whatever's happening, there's some rendering challenge. So what I'll do is I'll endeavor to talk a little slower, and that way there won't be as much to miss when the audio cuts. Some people have low quality standards. Maybe that's it. Maybe. Okay. Still no trades for me. Quiet morning here. What do we got? AMD still not doing much here. I was watching Tesla because Andrew is back into Tesla and trading it long. So at least Andrew in the chat room has got a trade. Let's bring this over once again, show you what's happening in the global trading community. Andrew's trading live. So he got this trade on Tesla. He got a couple of partials and then got stopped out. And then he re-entered, and now it's moving higher for him. So that's working a little bit better. Had a great trading morning, but not bad. I mean, hey, he's green, so that's any green day is a good day. Yeah, I mean, Tesla looks good now, but this would have been a hard trade to hold. Let's see. Hopefully, it goes higher and pushes through 405 for anybody that's looking to get Tesla long. But I'm not going to chase that. It's just not my trade setup, and I wouldn't be able to get my risk reward to a place that would make sense for me. So, whoops. I'm trying to click on the right thing here. I want to keep seeing what AMD is doing, but what else we got? Things are looking pretty overall pretty choppy today. The few things that are actually moving well are things like Apple, which had a great move. Did anybody here take Apple to the long side? Yeah, wasn't one that I was watching closely either. So if nobody took it, I wouldn't be surprised. Tesla's a decent move. Nvidia had a drop off the open. Again, hard to take in my opinion. And then, now it's just looking sideways. How about TSM? I haven't looked. Let's see what TSM is doing. TSM, yeah, another tough trade on TSM. You got an Apple at 270, Erica. Okay, all right, so that's good. That means that if you got an Apple at 270, you got a $4 move going here. Probably pretty happy with that. That's good. PLTR. Oh, I haven't even looked at PLTR this morning. What's PLTR doing? Hmm. Did you take a bounce on PLTR? You're saying it was nice? Yeah, I presume. Yeah, that would have been a hard trade for me. Not my setup. But it's okay. I've got this is the type of day that is actually setting up fairly well for later in the day trades for me. So, like I'd like Tesla to keep moving to new highs on the day so I can look for a reversal opportunity. I want Apple to keep moving to new highs so that I can look for a reversal setup. Not yet, but starting in about 30 minutes is when I would be looking for those potential reversal setups. AMD, right? I mean, AMD could go either way. I'm afraid that it's just going to chop, so that may not be good. But on the other side, NVIDIA, I'd love for NVIDIA to drop to a new low of day, and then I could take a long. But right now, it's not doing anything of interest that I can take advantage of. So it's a little quiet. Sure, I can have. I'll show you what Atlas is doing. So let's bring it up here. Here's Atlas. You want to see PLTR? So we got some orders top and downside. A little more to the top side. It looks like. Whoops! What did I just do? Depends how far out you go, right? Whole lot of orders way down here at 125. So a lot more than we've got up top at 135. But in the short term, when you zoom in, you can see, yeah. So it looks short biased right now on the overall Atlas volume. All right, so that's PLTR. NVIDIA, sure. Here's what NVIDIA looks like. Here's NVIDIA, pretty balanced, a little more topside orders than downside, but it sort of makes sense to me why it's been chopping sideways for a bit when you see these orders, right? Let's just zoom out. You can zoom out a little bit. You can see there's a lot more on the top side than there is on the downside, but because there's orders all the way through, it's pretty balanced here. So I think that yeah, makes sense to me. As I said, the relative price action. Anything else you guys want to look at? Just let me know. Happy to share the Atlas with you and give you an idea of what it looks like. Put it in here in the screen so you guys can see all of it. There you go. Consumer confidence. CEG? What is CEG? Is that a stock ticker? CEG, Constellation Brands. That's not one that I normally look at. Let's take a look at CEG. I bet it's going to be pretty empty here. Yeah, not a lot of shares going on here. Look at the 600 shares too. Yeah, this is pretty low volume. Not a lot happening on CEG on the Atlas. All right, so that's what we got going on there. Micron. Oh yes, of course. So many of you have been watching Micron today. I might as well take a look at that. Let's take a look. Here it is. So definitely downside. Look at this. So this is more definitive than anything else. We got orders at 422. Now, not huge. Keep in mind the relative size. It's only 15,000, 16,000 shares, right? 12,000 at 420. So it's not that many, but it's definitely slightly to the downside. Yeah, look at this. Look how many orders there are here. Now, if you go out far enough, you can see there's actually more orders way up here. 438, 440. right? There's a lot of orders up there, but they're so far away from the price action. They're not relevant in the short term. What's probably more relevant are these downside orders on Micron. So yeah, I would expect this thing to move lower over the next few minutes as it goes and sees if it can get these orders. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. Okay. Still no trades for me. Appreciate you guys asking on these things, by the way. Happy to share that. We do have at 10 o'clock some economic data that's coming out. It's not out yet, but we are looking for what are we looking for here? Consumer confidence, wholesale inventories, and yeah, those are the two. Yes, wholesale inventories and consumer confidence. So I'll let you know when data comes out, and I don't think we're going to see much of a market impact. I really don't expect the market to like do anything crazy. You know, it usually doesn't react to that data. And we have all these Fed speakers. Fed Governor Cook is speaking. Waller, Collins, they're all speaking right now. Well, I assume they are. They started, around 9 o'clock, 9:30. So depending how long their comments are, they might be done. And then later this afternoon, we've got who else we got? We got Collins does another speech at around 3:20. Tonight, apparently, President Trump is going to be addressing the nation. There's an address at 9 o'clock. That's well after the market close, but that might be interesting to be aware of what he shares at that address for tomorrow's trade. And that will be important because, of course, tomorrow, like I mentioned, the big earnings comes tomorrow after the close, and that is NVIDIA. That's really the big one that we're all looking for. NVIDIA's earnings always are interesting to the market. Now, it's after the close, so we'll have to wait and see what happens then, and then that'll make the Thursday trade interesting as well. All right. Tesla. Tesla on the market atlas. All right, let's bring it back. I'll share that with you guys. Here you go. Here's Tesla. Fairly balanced. More topside orders than downside. You just have to look where the bigger bars are. Let's zoom out. You zoom out far enough, you start to see some of the big orders really sit down below the active price, but that's far enough below. It's not going to be acting to move the stock in the short term. But you can see there's also a fair amount of topside orders. So you've got a lot going on there. Let's zoom back in. So this is what it looks like up close to the price action within, plus or minus $7 or $8. All right. Hopefully that gives you some idea. All right. We're coming into that data release. Should be out in a few seconds. I should put the clock. I can move the clock up in here. Here you go. Oh, now my clock's going to disappear. Let's put this always on top. There we go. That back up. Gonna move it up so that there we go. Okay. All right. While I was doing that, the consumer confidence came out better than expected, 91.2 versus an 87.4 forecast, and the wholesale came out a little bit lower than expected. I think at 1% versus the forecast. So, oh no, that's better. Wholesale, no, that's wholesale sales. Hold on. Wholesale inventories. There we go. 0.2%. All right. So wholesale inventories came out right on target, 0.2% versus the 0.2. Consumer confidence came out slightly better than anticipated. So there's your economic data for this morning. And as expected, right? The market really is just doing its thing. It didn't react to that whatsoever. The only other data point, like I mentioned earlier, the Atlanta Fed, the GDP Now number, that should be coming up at 11:30. So you can worry about that, but again, don't expect the market to do much with it. It's probably not going to move as a result. Have a good one, Beth. Yes, that data is December data, by the way. Well, consumer confidence was actually February data. Is that right? Wholesale inventories was December. Yeah, consumer confidence was February data. Well, guys, I am sort of happy not to have, sort of taken trades. I don't want to jump into anything and then, have problems in having done so. So right now, AMD looks like it's settling into a range. We got NVIDIA settling into a range. Even Tesla, right, that had moved higher, settling into a range. Apple, which had a good initial move. Look at this, guys, settling into a range, right? So you see the common thread. This can often happen at 10 o'clock. So when I'm looking for reversal moves, which is normally what I like to start to play in the next, half an hour or so, this range move is not a good thing because that means that we're not getting a lot of movement, which means I might have to wait till my next opportunity, which is often around noon. So you can get a little bit of a break between your trades because there's times in which this stuff normally happens. Now it's not universal, right? A move can happen at any point on any day, but I can generally tell based on how active or not the market is moving, how soon a trade is likely to set up for me. So quiet day for me relatively. Obviously no trades yet, like I've mentioned. Sideways movement. One thing I got to go look up. Carlos normally does a giveaway, and I think you guys absolutely deserve a giveaway today. Because he's been giving away something every day. So give me the like, just even if it's a sympathy like, because I know you're saying the audio is choppy, and I apologize for that. For those of you that have it, I don't know what's causing that, but I will do my best to fix it. So, and we will do a giveaway. Now, we normally do all right. We're gonna do a giveaway today because I think you guys deserve it. I think what is it? What has Carlos been giving away? If it hasn't changed, she's been giving away a funded account, right? So a membership, funded account. All right, let's try and turn off the feed to the chat room. See if we can get better stream into YouTube. Maybe it'll be better. Carlos, you've been giving away a funded account. What's the giveaway that you normally do? I want to make sure I give away the right thing. And a full paid vacation. Yeah. Nice. No, I will not be doing it. All right, we're going to give away a funded account. Guys, the hashtag for today is going to be hashtag snow. SNOW. Hashtag snow. If you want in on this, hashtag snow. We'll get you in on the deal. I can see people starting to put that in. Here we go. Oh, there you go. Now people are getting that done. Beautiful. Hashtag snow. If you want to be in on the deal, we'll give away a funded account today. The process will be the same. You'll just have to email Carlos, and he can make sure that you get your prize. He can hook you up. But hashtag snow. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of time here to get it. I want everybody to be able to enter. You guys deserve it. You've stuck it out here this morning, and what's been a fairly choppy open. Not easy trading, so if you're green, you should be pretty happy because it's. I think it's been tough. I haven't found a trade that I wanted. I was watching AMD, as you guys know, right at the open, and really some big chop there. So obviously it had the big news with that $60 billion deal with Meta. So, all right, guys, it's about time. We're gonna make this giveaway happen. All right. I see you guys are still doing this. We'll put this in here. You can see everybody who's entering. Here we go. We're going to close it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our winner for today is new user 7066. There you go. New user 7066. If that's you, congratulations. You get a bearable trading, a funded account. It's going to be with our trading terminal. You're going to be able to trade there. You could actually make money off this deal. It gives you a full funded account where we'll pay you if you manage to make money in that. We really want to encourage people to learn good trading skills. That's what that account will enable. So there you go. I see you. So I see you comment. You're like, me. All right, new user 7066. So what you need to do is just email Carlos at bearabletraders.com, and he'll take care of you. He'll make sure that you get your account. So you just email him, Carlos at bearabletraders.com. You can copy me on it. I'm Peter at bearabletraders.com. But don't worry, it's all recorded. It's recorded on YouTube. We know that you're there, so we can make sure you get that prize. All right. Thanks, everybody, for participating. All right. Now I still need to find a trade today. I want to get some trades. I want to get at least one trade. I only had one trade yesterday. That being said, I did have to go out and take care of some family stuff midday, so I missed the midday opportunities. But after the open, I did get a good short on Tesla. I was happy with that. Didn't catch much of the move, but enough to make it a good day. So Tesla, yeah, I find that Tesla was pretty tough today. It really didn't move as much as Tesla normally moves, right? Like look at this move today, and let's do this. I'm going to let's take a look at Tesla over the same period yesterday, right? So, whoops, what did I just do? If you look at Tesla over the same period yesterday, where are you at, about 10 o'clock? Oh no, what keeps happening here? That's so weird. Yeah, look at this. Like, at least it had a directional move, right? It moved down. It went and retested the VWAP. Like, to me, this is a a much better move than this, right? Now, depending on your style, you may say, well, either is fine. But for me, this yesterday was a much better move than today's. So I like yesterday's move much better. So, oh no. PLTR? We can look at PLTR again. Let's see, what is PLTR up to? Some wavy movement on PLTR. Went up, test, down. Yeah, well, PLTR is in a slightly wider, like it's the whole day, the whole morning is essentially a range, right? Because if you look at the pre-market, right, you can see PLTR sort of hit the high towards where the high was at pre-market, and then it's the low has touched it twice. So I just see this as sort of a $4 range here that PLTR is playing in. Not great trading for me. Wouldn't be much opportunity. If it breaks lower, see where this low is here? If it breaks below that, the 426, what is this actual low candle here? 426.23. If it can break below that, PLTR could have a very long way to fall, but it hasn't done it today. The low today is 426.38. So you can see it's yeah, tough. Like a lot of things, tough. Let's see, where's Apple at right now? Oh wow, Apple's just died, hasn't it? Look at that. Initial good move higher. This is just stuck sideways. So I think it was Beth. No, who was it? Somebody had taken a trade on Apple. They were in at 270. They had said, and we're up. You now got a choice to make, right? How much of your profits do you lock in, or do you hold, hoping that Apple goes higher? Certainly, I mean, there's certainly room, but you can see this has been an area of resistance, I would say, over the last little while. But I mean, you still have a $2 range, $3. Well, yeah, almost $5 above the current price, where a lot of orders have changed hands. So Apple, yeah. See how right in the bottom? So this is why I like to look at different time frame charts. Beginning of February, see this area? So many shares traded hands right in this 273, 274. Yeah, I think Apple might have trouble breaking through that if they go higher today, unless we get a really strong market move. Anyways, you got to make your own choice as to what you're going to do about Apple. Oh, it was Erica. Thank you, Erica. Yeah, Erica, you just got out of your Apple trade. Probably a good decision, I think. It just looked like it was not interested in moving higher. I mean, unless you really want to hold for like all day, then maybe there's a potential to go higher, but could also sell off, and before you know it, you'll be back at your break even. So probably better to lock in the profits. So now you can walk away. I had a good trade. I'm done. Right? It was awesome. So good. Watch AMD. See what AMD. Got a little ways to go to recover VWAP. I assume you mean hymns, Daryl. Hymns has moved above VWAP. I don't like it. Again, range seems to be the story of everything today. Everything's in a range. Range. Everything's just sitting here. You're shorting Apple off of that high. Okay. Not my short, but I see why you might be doing that. The market atlas for NVIDIA. You bet. Happy to. There is the market atlas for NVIDIA. Looks like there's more orders to the top, up the chain to 195. Let's zoom in a little bit for you. See if we get some more detail. Yeah, definitely more orders to the top side than the downside. That being said, this doesn't look all that energetic to me because look, when you really zoom in here in the next couple of dollars, you know, you got some orders 192, 193, 194, but they're just at the whole dollars. So yeah, I don't know that's enough to propel NVIDIA higher, but if it's going to go anywhere, it probably will more easily go higher than lower. Don't forget the previous day close is up above the current price at 191.55 as well. So there you go. NVIDIA currently sits in what I like to call no man's land. It's in the range between the VWAP and the previous day close. Now, this is more relevant later in the day than it usually is at this time of day, but it's something that I just take note of. When you get these two areas and the price starts to sort of chop in it, this would be, you know, if you're a range trader, you could potentially play a range where it would bounce off the previous day close and then bounce off the VWAP and, you know, end up chopping in here. So I don't like I wouldn't enter any trade in here because I just don't know which way it's going to go, right? In the short term, it's probably going to go up and test the previous day close. Will it break through or not? Don't know. We just looked at the atlas that shows orders up higher. So there's a potential, but you know, we also know so far today, this range has been something that it has roughly been observing. You want to see Micron on the market atlas. All right, let's bring Micron back up. Here we go. Here's Micron on the market atlas. More orders below the price on Micron, which would make sense. The price has been dropping. You got orders down at 416, down at 415. Not big, though. Keep in mind the size of these orders, right? 12,600 shares, right? 13,000 shares at 415. Let's go back to NVIDIA, right? These order sizes, 145,000 shares, 70,000, right? So just the size of the orders are much, much bigger on something like NVIDIA. You know, despite the fact that, well, I mean, I guess NVIDIA's traded 38 million shares today versus Micron's 8 million shares. So, you know, if you apply that rough factor, so that would be, what, a 5 to 1, let's call it. You know, you would expect these Micron orders to be a fifth the size of what you're getting on NVIDIA, which is, NVIDIA is a little bit bigger than 5 times, but yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking for a reversal on Micron if that's what you were looking for. Oh no, you're talking about SanDisk. Let's see, SNDK. Wow, SNDK, yeah. That's been directional. This is the type of chart that makes me think of a slinky bouncing downstairs, right? You get different size bounces on different steps, but it bounces, bounce, 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 you know? CoreWeave. So, well, yeah, we're in the range where you could get a mountain pass. Let's see. Now, CoreWeave, I mean, it's not setting up for a mountain pass right now for me because it's, so it hit a high of day and it pulled back. It was going back up to retest the high of day, but in between it hit the VWAP, and that would negate a move for me. Also, this pullback as a percentage of the high, this is about 50%. And I don't like, again, 50% is my limit to how much pullback I allow. I mean, I don't know, numerically. Let's measure it here. So this move really started about here. Let's call it $92. It hit a high of 96.70. So it's $4.70. So half of that would be 235. So let's go 235 down from that, which would be 94.35. And where's the low here? 94.14. So there you go. Visually, it's pretty darn close, isn't that? So there you go. It's 20 cents over the 50% pullback. So so yeah. So for those reasons, wouldn't be a mountain pass for me. EG, First Majestic Silver. I don't like trading the mining stocks, but it's a trade in it. Yeah, by all means. The volume's pretty flat on this. 6 million shares traded so far today, which is okay. I just don't like how flat the volume has been since the opening few minutes, right? Doesn't look like there's that much driving interest to change its direction, to give it some momentum to make a good trade move work. Again, just in my opinion. Tesla's popping up here now, setting a new high. So that's good. I'd be looking at Tesla for a potential reversal a little bit later. Jose, you're trading PLTR. You got people trading all sorts of different things and looking at different stocks. That's good. 30 point. So clearly you're long. Took a long from down here. I hope you get there. That will put you above the high of the day, but below yesterday's close. So not a bad place. All right. Choppy chop chop, guys. I don't see much that I love. Tesla looks best right now. It looks decent. I would like to see a stronger move, a better move up a little bit higher on Tesla to try and get a reversal on it. But sometimes you got to take what you're given. So we'll see what it does now. It did get volume at least, right, on that move higher. That's good. I'd want to see a pullback, at least down to 405. Retest and then fail. So that would be what I'd be looking for on Tesla. We'll see if that plays out over the next little while. Well, maybe Tesla's not done going higher yet. So wait and watch. NVDA just hit the previous day close. Was green for a brief moment. Red right now, but only by one, only by like a cent or two. And then it was green. Now it's red. Carlos. Carlos, welcome to Lambos and Garbage Trucks. Pleasure to have you here. We'll give you a bunch of garbage trucks for joining. There you go. Oh, and some Lambos. We can put some Lambos in there too. There you go. A bunch of Lambos and garbage truck for you. Now you can do that too. Carlos, you can put your own Lambos and garbage trucks into the chat. Ah, you're still in an NVIDIA trade. Excellent. It's good to know that you're taking advantage of this move to the green. That's good. I'm still watching Tesla. Now, Tesla looks like it might be topping here at 406. See what it does. Market Atlas still shows there's room to the top side, though. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too confident about Tesla being done here. So, good, you know, where a tool like Market Atlas can help know whether you should be looking at a reversal or whether you should anticipate potential move higher. I gotta sit down. I normally stand all morning, but I was playing squash last night. Oh, if I do that, my microphone's gonna be like in front of my face. I was playing squash last night, and I was feeling awesome. Right, I was having a great day. And then, you know, when like I made this big lunge, and I felt something pop in my leg. You're like, oh, that wasn't good. And sure enough, within 2 points, I had to stop playing because I just couldn't. I couldn't put any pressure on it. So it's not that bad. Whatever happened, getting old, right? Can't handle all those big moves. I did go cycling this morning, and that was fine. I mean, I felt it, but it didn't seem to impede my ability to mash the pedals too much. So that's good. Oh, well, the market is moving higher. Tesla is moving higher. NVIDIA moving higher. So that's good, right? I wanted to get out of this chop. Finally, we're doing that. I like it. We'll see what we get in terms of reversal opportunities. Hoping that something sets up on Tesla here. The best scanner to locate stocks in play. Um, I don't typically use the scanner. I mean, we use them at the open to. I mean, if you're talking about Barb, if you're asking like midday, um, probably your high of day break. There's a bunch of default scanners that are in there, but I think that if you do your volume breakout type scanners, high of day break, right, would be good. I don't know if you guys have here. I'll put this up on the screen so you can see it. So Trading Terminal has all these scanners. They're sort of pre-configured that are available. It looks like Andrew's going to be joining us. That'll be fun. Let's see if he can. I don't want to. I'm afraid to touch my microphone, so it's really in an awkward spot here. I'm going to stand again.
Hey Peter, how are you doing, sir?
Andrew, I'm good. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
I can hear
Let's.
you, but Carlos has to put it into the.
No, that's me. I'll get that done.
Oh, you get that done? What happened to Carlos? Did you kill him? He was good.
No, I took him out to take over the glory. No, he's the kids are off today. This big snowstorm in the Northeast, and well, I didn't get it here, but they are like under 2 feet, and he's still digging out. So yeah, he
Yeah.
couldn't make it this morning.
So you didn't get any big one in you didn't get any big one in Ottawa store?
No, not at all. No snow at all. We didn't really get anything, so it was pretty light here. I don't know. We must have just missed us because I know so many other people got all sorts of snow that they were really struggling. But here we were just fine. So let me just I got to get you onto the screen here.
Um, if you can, if you want,
There he
I
is.
can put my webcam.
There's
Oh, there you go.
Andrew's
Sorry.
pretty face.
Yeah.
Smile for everybody.
Right,
So I trust on
so
YouTube, guys. Let us know. You should be able to hear Andrew. Hopefully, you can hear him and in the
yeah, the
chat room.
chat room as well.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
market,
So go
yeah.
ahead.
Go. No, no. I was just saying that the market was really good. Tesla turned out to be a really amazing trade. We did trade live for Money Show Vegas, and it was very, very nice. And I missed that, unfortunately. Again, yesterday I was in the airport and the flight just kept canceled. And, I couldn't really go there, unfortunately.
Why did they keep canceling your flight? It wasn't weather, was it?
Uh, so, Peter, they say that they cannot hear me in the chat room.
Can't hear Andrew. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me. There. How about now? Can you hear Andrew now?
What about now, guys? Can you guys hear me now? Uh, there's not much to hear, really. No. What if I start going into the chat room
Oh,
directly?
there we go. No, I gotcha.
Okay,
It's
now what
me. I
about
gotta.
now?
I gotta find the right buttons. There we go.
Right
Should be.
buttons, right
Sh-
buttons, right buttons. What about now in the chat room? Let's see if the chat room they hear me. You guys hear me? I can hear both. Nice. Hmm.
no, Andrew. What?
They
Try it again.
say in the chat room they can't hear me.
Camera one.
Yeah, I know this never happened with Carlos. Okay, what about this one? What about I start here in the chat room? What about I go directly into the chat room?
Sure, you can do that.
Yeah. If the YouTube has it me, then I can come directly to the chat room.
And YouTube, can you hear Andrew?
Um,
You can hear both.
yeah, okay.
Oh,
So
oh, wait a sec. Do I have the mic? I have the mic. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Do that.
nice. Oh, that's a great trading. Nice, amazing. Yeah, they're sending some pictures of Vegas. So let's show the Vegas guys. So Brian and I. So let's go through the pictures of the Vegas traders are trading. It's actually really nice. This is really great. Look at that. This is Brian and Thor trading in Vegas. This is one of our traders using Market Atlas. It's really nice. This is our buddy Thor. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, there you go. That's me. Perfect. So yeah, we were going with the issue. What was the issue with the flights, guys? The issue was um, I think the issue was because a lot of flights got canceled and grounded on the East Coast. All the airlines had issue with planes. They didn't have enough planes.
Oh.
So that was a big issue that they had for the planes.
Mm.
Um,
That actually makes sense. I didn't think about that, but you're right. The planes themselves would have been grounded and not able to, be where they needed them to be.
yeah, exactly. So they had this issue that whenever there was a delay and everything, they didn't have enough plane to respond. Like for example, Sunday they had a technical issue with the plane, but they just didn't have plane to replace that. Usually because they replace the plane with something else.
Probably getting an echo because with Andrew sharing his mic, you're going to hear me through Andrew as well as me.
Right. If it's an issue, then I'll stay in the chat room. You continue to the YouTube. So I don't want people to get real things. All right. In that case, I'll sign off, guys. I'll stay in the chat room. Sorry,
I
Peter.
think I think I've got the. Hold on, let's try one last thing. You just turned off your mic in the chat room. Talk
Okay.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you guys hear Andrew now?
In the chat room as well, guys. No. Then see they lose
Still
me. Let
no.
me.
Yeah.
No. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. 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 Don't do that anything. What about now? So is there any echo now? Yes.
Probably when I
Okay. Is
talk,
there echo?
did you get an echo?
Echo, no echo, you're good? Oh, perfect. So yeah, sorry about this. We have to, Carlos is doing a better thing, but I'm actually thinking of really starting a better production of the show. I think I'm actually myself. I think we're not doing a great job in production of show. I was thinking of moving to Toronto for you guys and actually start coming to the pre-market show myself, and then we do expand the show a little bit, and then actually get in a studio because the office is great. You can make it in a studio, but we need a production team. But for me, it has to be. I have to go into the Eastern time zone. There's no way that I can be any use at this time of the uh, morning for me. So I think probably in the next few months, I'm gonna move to Toronto and potentially start a show, a very more professional show with the producer, with the news, with business reporting, hopefully in Toronto. Um, I think Trader TV Live, they are in Toronto, so they have a studio, so very similar to that. Um, and obviously, I myself also don't like the fact that we're all constantly having echo and cameras and everything, so it's not professional anymore. So we're gonna do that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Okay, Toronto. I guess here we go. We're coming.
Toronto will never be the same.
Loud and clear. Yeah. You don't sound very excited about Toronto. No, I'm not. Well, I like Vancouver, but and also move is hard. You have to just really pack and go somewhere else is really difficult. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, I wish I was with Carlos. I wish I was in New Jersey, but Carlos has three children and his wife is working. It's very difficult for him to move. And um, I wish I was actually closer to Carlos because Carlos and I would really do really good together. And you never know. Maybe I marry Peter's daughter, so I move to Ottawa. That's also another option.
Who knows?
Who knows? You never know. So maybe my father-in-law buy me a really nice house in Ottawa. Uh, all right, Tesla was a really nice move toward 408. It was a great trade. I wish I took it back. It's great. They will buy me Porsche for wedding. Yeah, that's true.
What are you talking about? I expect the dowry.
You expected what?
The dowry, isn't that the tradition?
Oh,
You got to give me like 6 goats and a.
yeah. All right. So this is the journal of the funded account, guys. Let's see through the journal of funded accounts. You can see it in the chat room. So you might not be able to see it actually in the thing. So we had Joshua, $22,000. Circles 14, and then you see these are all really amazing profit that we had. We sold it. We gotta have this actually table online, so you can actually everybody can go and see their journal as well. So you can actually see their journal. How did they trade? What was their equity curve? So I want to make it public. Obviously, we remove the names, but um, so the paid ones. Um, So there are some people that we have reviewed. There are some actually more people here that they're profitable. So those are the ones that we paid. So these are 8 people are. So we have another $10,000. So Takur, Steven, Kyle, and Dill. So another $5,000. That's $31,000. Oh, look at his journal. Let's see what he did. Wow, it's crazy. Look at that. No, that's not him. Who was the guy? Review. So what's this journal? This journal is not correct. Oh no, because he has a different account. Oh yeah, yeah. Is that the one account? No, that's not true. $29,000 one day? No, that's not correct. Let me see. Yeah, that doesn't seem correct. Yeah, maybe checking this one. Anyway, so you can actually see the people that we actually paid. Um, all right, so NVDA is going up, Tesla is pulling back, SPY is going down, Microsoft is doing nothing. I got destroyed on Microsoft puts, unfortunately.
That was an overnight that you held the puts?
It's yeah, it's a puts. I sold Microsoft puts at 400 and it's for end of this week and it's not doing well at all. So I'm down $68,000 right now on it. So I got $7 out of it. So that means that for 400 would be 393. So if the Microsoft closes below 393, I'm going to lose money, which is right now it's trading at 386. So we'll see. We have 3 more days. It's for end of this week. Any question, guys?
I just see a comment, JMC10. You say you're confused with the hotkeys there in the chat room. If you're using the DAS Trader Pro, you should go to the session that we got going on today. That we'll talk. They talk about DAS and how to configure it and set it up. That'll be a great place to get all the help that you need on that to be able to configure it. So that session is happening at noon today with Brendan in the onboarding room. Unfortunately, in the chat room, there's going to be an echo every time I talk, so I'm trying to hit mute so that it doesn't happen more than necessary. But when I talk, there's an echo because I think it's coming. You're going to get it from Andrew and me as we're both sharing a microphone.
A for effort, Peter. A for effort, really. Thank you so much for doing this. Peter, come live in Toronto. If I move to Toronto, let's get a studio. Let's trade together in a studio, like Trader TV Live, high quality, fun. Like, do you really need to live in Ottawa?
Well, being that my house is here and all my stuff is here, yeah.
I'll buy you a new house in Toronto and I'll bring your all your stuff here.
God, I hate Toronto. Well,
Why?
if you're really doing it, we could try it out, see how it works.
Yeah, awesome. It's gonna be
I'm
because
not
I really like
convinced, though.
I really like to create our production because we are the best day traders in the world. I do believe our community is the best day trading community in the world. But we don't do a good job in presenting it. It's just because, our team is so scattered. We build it so organically. The show is also heavy. Like it's a lot of work for you and Carlos. And we're thinking if I come here, I help, better production, we can hire better traders, not the traders, better, news reporting people that help you with getting the data and everything. So, but we gotta be together in the Eastern time zone. So the time zone is super important. Um, um, honestly, I lost my connection to Vancouver. I don't like Vancouver anymore. I think it's a beautiful city, but I think after 16, 17 years living here, I'm done with it. I think I need to move on to the next chapter of my life. I thought about Dubai, but the time zone in Dubai is not really good. So right now in Dubai, what is it, 7 p.m., 6 p.m., and then if you want to continue working with North America, then you have to devote all of your time in the evening which is the best time in Dubai because it's pretty hot during the day. You want to go out, during the night, then that doesn't make sense. Europe is also nice, but again, the only English speaking cities are really Amsterdam and London, and they're also pretty expensive, and then the pool of talents that you want to find over there is really difficult. Colombia is nice, but again, speaking Spanish is one thing, and then finding the talent. If I want to really build a good production, if I want to hire, business reporting people and anchors, then I can't find them in Colombia. I can find good production, not people, but really as a producer, it has to be at East Coast of US. Jersey is good, New York is good, Florida is good, but they're pretty expensive. Like, Canada is significantly cheaper country. Um,
Maybe we should just all move into John's house. He's over in Connecticut. How about that?
John Rafsila?
No, John Hiltz. He'd love that. Have us all living in his basement.
Oh, yeah, why not? Um, Connecticut is also nice too, but again, you need to also be near a metropolitan area to be able to find talent. The problem with a lot of nice places in the world is that there is no talent. If you want to have production with a studio, then you can't have it in a very beautiful beach resort town in Florida. So because there's no talent, pool of talents are usually near big universities, big metropolitans. All right, so AMD lost it. Tesla with a really nice move, and NVDA earning is tomorrow. It's exciting. NVIDIA is moving up. It's pretty nice. Virginia, yeah, I mean Virginia is really nice. But again, I don't know how can I get into how do I get into US like job? Like I don't know. I don't have any US green card or anything. I was thinking of buying Trump green card for 1 million. AMD SPY Qs are running up, but it's pretty good. So we had a decent trade in AMD and Tesla. So it would be $11,000. That was pretty awesome. San Francisco Bay Area is nice too, but the problem with Bay Area is again is the time zone.
Well, and cost there. That would be very expensive, wouldn't it?
Sorry again?
That would be very expensive in the Bay Area.
Yeah, expensive, very, very expensive. That's true. But
I'm
again,
in a
time
short.
zone.
I got in
Yeah,
my
but
first short here. I'm in a short on Tesla. Tesla sort of hit a top, not exactly a mountain pass, but that style of trade. We're
yeah, perfect. Yeah, trading in the afternoon is really nice. Again, it's not for me, it's not about only trading. It's also about running the operations of variable traders, peak capital, and trading terminal. So I can trade anywhere in the world for 1 hour, but my team are in North America, and I need to be near North America time zone. And I've seen a lot of people like moving to Dubai. Yes, save a little bit of tax, but your life is really getting impacted. At the end of the day, North America America is still the center of financial market of the world, and you really need to be near time America, North America time zone. I thought about a lot about moving to Dubai or somewhere else, but again, my businesses and my life would get impacted for sure.
Well, your other option is just move to Ottawa. Put it here.
That's also another option, yeah. When when I become prime minister, I move to Ottawa. So Atlas was great. I never had any problem with the Atlas today. It was really smooth.
All right, so for everybody out on YouTube, let me just show you my Tesla trade. Here we are. So I went short when it looked like it was going to break down out of this range it had put. And you can see I've taken two quick partials. I'm hoping to get a little bit lower here. The 50 moving average is slashing across the price. So down 405, 405.10 would be the area. If we get there, I'll be taking another partial. So my first trade of the day, but this is the type of stuff that my bread and butter is made on, right? I just got to be patient, wait for these types of moves. I look for my setups, and then that's what you do. So, and everybody's got a different trading style. Andrew's an expert at the open. I'm not so good at it. So I wait for these types of moves that I have so much more confidence in that tend to work very area that I talked about. I'm going to take another partial right there, right that moving average. You don't actually see the moving average on your chart, so. But add moving average, add the it in here for you, but there you go. No, that's not it. That is not the moving average I want. Anyways, so it's good. If we get down to VWAP, that'll be awesome. It'll make my day. So nice simple trade for me. So Golden Iris, you're asking what my setup was. It's a modification of my Mountain Pass. Really looking for that high of day that Tesla hit. It tested the high of day, but clearly didn't have any strength. And so because it didn't have any strength, I could have got a better entry, a lot higher, about $1 higher on this. But I was waiting to see if it was actually going to break down. So I only took the trade once I was confident the breakdown was going to happen. And even then, we got a little bit of a pullback. So I said my stop was over 407. My entry here, as you can see, was 406.44. I could have got in up here, but it broke my rules on the Mountain Pass because it put in a higher high. So I just waited to see. When I was pretty confident it was going to break down, I entered. Had to suffer this short-term pullback, but as you can see, it was definitely selling off a little bit. So it was that simple, nothing special, but I just seen that type of pattern over and over again, right? High volume as it moved up into this high of day, and then look how the volume has dropped off, right? That was another good sign that it wasn't about to push higher because the volume was just sort of sliding lower. So that's what I used.
What is your market? What is your um, mountain pass strategy?
Well,
Explain the elevator pitch in 30 seconds.
all right. So basically, it's a reversal at high or low of
Hmm.
it pulls off the high of day, retests it, and then fails, and that gives me my entry. So it just looks like two mountain peaks, and
Hmm.
I use that to go short. I prefer the short trade most of the time. The stop would be over the high of day, and you just take it all the way back through the moving averages down. The great trade is when it gets to the VWAP, because then you almost always have an 8 or 10 or 12 R risk to reward type ratio. So um, it's so this one that I was just showing you. If you look at the Tesla right now, it made much of the pattern where it had volume up to the high. The problem is it pushed a little bit higher on the retest, so that broke the mountain pass. But I was still looking for the weakness, and as you can see, the weakness came in because no volume ever happened. And as you see, Tesla's nicely selling off. So it's a pattern that just repeats itself over and over again in the market. It usually sets up only after 10:20 in the morning. Usually goes until mid afternoon, but from 10:20 until about noon are often the best setups because that's when you get good reversal type trades.
Mm.
So
It's interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Thank
and as you
you.
can see, right, Tesla's now moving down nicely. I don't have to do much on this. I just sit and wait, and yeah, it might reverse and come and stop me out. That's fine. But if it goes, look at how good the return is, right? You don't have to like sweat it out too much. You just
Yeah.
let it do its thing. NBIS. Let's check out NBIS here.
BIS.
So
NBIS. Yes.
yeah, I don't see a mountain pass set up on NBIS, at least not by my rules. I see what you're seeing about the high and then the retest, but there was too much stuff that happened in between, so um, wouldn't have met my criteria. Nora, see if it gets to VWAP, I definitely take a big partial there. I don't get all out because sometimes these things can drop all day. We might go from here all the way through to the previous day close or the low of day on Tesla. So I want to be there for the ride. Usually then I can start combining my strategies because there's an opportunity if it shows weakness at the VWAP, I can actually add into the trade at that point, and then I get more size to take it lower. Quite often it hits the VWAP and bounces back and comes all the way back up towards the high and stops me out, but it's worth holding on to a few shares in my opinion because the few times when it does work, it works really well. So, the payout is worth the number of times it gets out.
All right, so guys, it's 11. I know Paris is coming. Paris had a really good trade, so we're gonna hand it over to Paris. And thank you so much, Peter, for covering everything, and all the best, man. So I'm gonna see you in the chat room tomorrow.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care,
Sure.
everybody.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Big, big echo.
Big,
Okay.
big echo. That was me.
Okay, we'll leave the chat room there to Paris, guys. You're back with me today. You look, we have part of our team that's in Vancouver. So, guys, we don't have a follow-on here with those that are usually here are in Vancouver. I am. Let me just cut this. You can see here's my trade, like I was talking to you about. So we're happily sitting here, just waiting to see what's going to happen. It again might come bounce at this point. It could bounce at any point. But I'm hoping to get a move all the way down to the VWAP, wherever the VWAP, which is this blue line, by the way, happens to be at the point at which I get there, right? Because when I entered the trade, the VWAP was down here at 403.20, let's call it. Now it's moved up, of course, with the additional price action to 403.40. So it might be up at 403.50 or 60 by the time we get down there, but we'll see how long it takes. That's my move, and that's what I'm looking at. So hopefully you guys have had some good trades this morning. I know a few of you shared them. I appreciate it. Congratulations to new user, our winner of the funded account this morning. Don't forget to email Carlos to collect that. And for everybody, Carlos, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. Things will be back to normal. We'll get some the better quality back in. So thank you so much. You know, Stefan, I've explained the map paths many times to Andrew. I think it's because it's not a trade that he takes. It just doesn't stick. Doesn't stick in his head. So, but anyways, we'll manage this trade here and talk to everybody again tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day and trade smart. Whatever you end up doing. Okay, I don't want anybody doing anything crazy out there. So have a good one, everybody.